How we feeling, Flames fans? The Calgary Flames got an enormous win in regulation against the Minnesota Wild, which has greatly increased their chances to make the postseason. While the numbers still aren't in Calgary's favor, there's a real chance that destiny could be on the Sea of Red side with a couple of huge matchups tonight that have serious implications on the near future for your Calgary Flames. We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And oh baby, vibes are high. People are feeling good. Let's talk about last night's game. Arguably the biggest game of the season in a way, and it went Calgary's way, which we really obviously needed just in terms of playoff implications, but also just in terms of vibes for the entire fan base. It seems a huge win against the Minnesota Wild. Not only a win, but a regulation win, which helps us with that potential tiebreaker that it could boil down to with the St. Louis Blues. So this is the ideal, kind of result here. 4-2, big win. Look what happens when Dustin Wolf is in net and we score 4 goals. It seems like a win is destined when those two things do happen, and it happened tonight. And there were so many different great performances. It almost seems like there's a different hero every night when the Flames obviously do play well. Dustin Wolf, as I said, he gets the start and the W, giving up 2 goals on just 18 shots. That's all Minnesota could really do in what was a very important game for them as well. Apparently they used up all their offense against San Jose the other night in that 8-7 game. But Wolfie got the job done, made some good saves. Great performance from him. Now, if we get into the guys who got on the score sheet, oh my goodness. Sharangovich, he's starting to heat up a little bit. I mean, not as much as he was last year, but hey, if there were ever a time for him to wake up, it's definitely now. What a gorgeous tip-in goal he had. Amazing goal for him. Glad he is finding his way onto the score sheet more and more as the season is nearing its conclusion. Backlund, he stays hot as well with a goal. He got it started. Great to see. Ryan Lomberg, already, easily a fan favorite here in Calgary, a fan favorite back in Florida as well. He's just that type of player. What a gorgeous goal he had as well on the breakaway. I mean, we could give this man anything he wants at this point. He has such a special place in all of our hearts. What a game from him. Fantastic goal. Nazem Kadri, he gets the last one as well. So all those guys scored goals. Great to see the Flames kind of almost each line scoring a goal, which is just fantastic to see. Coronato, Frost, Pospisil, and Coleman all getting assists as well. So again, no player got 2 points, sharing the wealth. Absolutely great to see that. It seemed like in the last few games, maybe Klapka has stepped up the most. Now we're getting guys like Backlund and Lomberg really stepping up. The vets more so now. It is just fantastic to see what an absolute beauty of a game it was. And where does it leave us in the standings now? Well, Edmonton has actually clinched now, so we can only really go for the wild card, which is what we all expected anyway. But both Minnesota and St. Louis are on 93 points, while the Flames are up to 90 points and have a game in hand on both teams. And I'm going to break down kind of, what that means in terms of how we can sneak into the playoffs. But there's a much better chance than there was after the Anaheim game, which is absolutely fantastic to see. So why don't we get into these massive implications here? Massive implications in terms of the playoffs, in terms of the other teams' remaining schedules, and just in terms of what really the rest of the season can look like. So if we get into the money puck wheel to start, so playoff odds, of course, if we go to that far circle, the first one there, the Flames went from a 10% chance to an 18% chance to make the playoffs after last night's win. And I keep emphasizing regulation win. If you missed yesterday's video, it kind of went over, these tiebreakers that can't be ignored. Regulation wins are huge because we can sneak in over St. Louis with regulation wins. So a huge win for the Flames. Obviously, St. Louis now less than 90%. Remember their crazy win streak? What's going on with them? Minnesota, obviously, they go down as well to just 92%, I believe that says now. So the Flames still nowhere near as high of a chance as Minnesota and St. Louis, of course. But hey, that we like to see a bigger piece of the pie for us, and that is what it is at right now. So this is huge. The Flames took care of business last night against the Wild, meaning their path to the postseason just got a whole lot more clear. if St. Louis or Minnesota loses in regulation, then the Flames control their own destiny, which is obviously massive. I don't need to, understate how massive that of an implication that is on the Flames. But St. Louis and Minnesota only have 2 games left. If they lose in regulation in one of those 2, then the Flames can win out and sneak in over either one of them. The tiebreakers won't even matter at that point. So that is honestly fantastic. So with that being said, could St. Louis or Minnesota lose one of their next 2 games? Well, let's take a look at their remaining schedules and start with Minnesota. So obviously last night, the Flames took care of business, got a 4-2 win. Huge. Tonight, Minnesota plays in Vancouver. So a back-to-back on the road is tough. Now, the Canucks are they are absolute bum. They suck this year. They're terrible. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Canucks, almost let Minnesota win just to spite Calgary. But you never know. A back-to-back on the road, flying out after the game last night, it could be a tough matchup. Come on, Vancouver, please do it for us. Minnesota also has Anaheim, which is a bit of an easier game. So Minnesota, as we know, has an easier schedule, as it boils down to it, than maybe the Flames do, but there's the chance that they could lose one of these games, of course. It's the NHL. There's so much parity any given Sunday. Let's take a look at St. Louis's schedule then. So their most recent game was way back on Wednesday when they lost to Edmonton. So a lot of rest before heading to Seattle tonight against the Kraken. So both the Wild and the Blues in action tonight. Will definitely be doing some out-of-town scoreboard watching. But Seattle tonight, and then they're back home on Tuesday against Utah. So again, another decently easy schedule. All of Minnesota and St. Louis's remaining games are against teams that have been eliminated from the playoffs. But hey, there's a chance. Seattle tonight, maybe Vancouver tonight. You just never know. And it's actually really funny if we pull this one up here. Let me make sure it's the right one. A great tweet here from Yegor Sharangovich replaced Breadman. So tonight we are the biggest Vancouver Canucks and Seattle Kraken supporters to ever exist. And boy, is that the truth. I've always considered myself more of a mountain boy, but man, tonight I will be a West Coast boy at heart. I guess both Vancouver and Seattle kind of have mountains, but you know what I'm saying. Oh my goodness, we will be huge fans of the Canucks and Kraken. Please do it for us. They're both divisional opponents. Vancouver, obviously one of our bigger rivals, but oh man, please do it for the Flames. We want this so bad. We want to be in the postseason. Man, oh man, if I am chanting go Canucks go tonight or go Kraken go tonight, do not blame me. That is exactly why we need them to win. Now, if we get into Calgary's remaining schedule, what we care about obviously here. So, got the job done last night against Minnesota. An easier game tomorrow on Sunday against the Sharks at home. You would hope that the Flames would be able to secure it. I mean, we're all Flames fans here. We know that there's a good chance that they could absolutely gack it against San Jose, but it's a bit of an easier game. Then they play on Tuesday against Vegas, once again at home. That's going to be a tough matchup. We'll see if there's still playoff implications, or I should say seeding implications involved for Vegas. Obviously, they want to win the division. They don't want to have to play either Edmonton or LA in that first round. So hopefully by then they'll have the division locked up, and maybe the game won't matter as much to them and they can rest some of their guys. Then it's to Thursday in LA, the makeup game for the Fires in LA earlier in this season. And that one's going to be huge because you'd assume that there will still be seeding implications for LA. They'd much rather be at home to Edmonton in that first round, if that's how it does end up being. I mean, they could also be playing for the division at that point, which they'd also much rather have. So that's going to be a tough one. But man, the belief in that locker room, the belief in the fan base right now, it is a lot higher than it was just even 24 hours ago. So there is definitely a chance. Hopefully the Flames can do it. One last thing for this chapter, this video, that was kind of cool here. So Aaron Vickers, he tweeted out, per the NHL's media notes, the Flames can become the second team in NHL history to overcome a 5-point deficit within their final 4 games to qualify for the playoffs. The only other team to do so is the 1958-59 Maple Leafs. That's quite a stat, and it truly is. It would almost mean that the Flames are really the first team to do this, because back then there were only 6 teams, so it's obviously a lot harder to do it nowadays, but it could happen, and boy, what an accomplishment that could be. We need a little bit of help. It is possible. Hopefully the Flames can keep rolling and just go with the momentum of that huge win last night. Now let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, as we love to do here on the channel. This is just a great comment here about last night's game. Obviously commented after the game last night. Commented this morning from Roy. Roy said that was the best game of the season. Felt like we already won the cup. It really did. Just the crowd was electric in the Dome. One of the best crowds I've seen probably all season. Might have been the best crowd I've seen all season on a Friday night in Cowtown. Doesn't get any better than that. And he also said Lomberg for captain with a couple of beers clinking there. So true. Lomberg for captain, absolutely. Lomberg for mayor. Give that man the keys to this city. He deserves it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like you just saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.